In today's video, we're going to explore one of the most talked about matchups in the animal world and carefully examine who would truly win in a fight between a chimpanzee and a gorilla. These two great apes share parts of the same continent, and in some regions their habitats even overlap. Despite this, direct encounters between them are extremely rare. When they do come close to one another in the wild, observations suggest that both species usually avoid confrontation. Still, the idea of a chimpanzee versus a gorilla continues to spark curiosity because of how powerful, intelligent, and fascinating both animals are. Chimpanzees feel especially familiar to humans. Much of their behavior reminds us of ourselves. They show emotions, form friendships, cooperate, and even engage in conflict in ways that seem strikingly human-like. Chimpanzees belong to the group known as great apes, alongside gorillas, orangutans, and bonobos. One of their most recognizable traits is their method of movement. They usually walk on the soles of their feet while supporting themselves with the knuckles of their hands, a style of movement that has earned them the name knuckle walkers. Gorillas are also great apes, but they differ from chimpanzees in many important ways. Gorillas are generally calm, peaceful, and strongly family-oriented animals. They live in structured social groups led by a dominant adult male. Gorillas are the largest primates on Earth, and their sheer size alone sets them apart from all other apes. While they are capable of standing upright, gorillas usually move on all fours, using both their arms and legs to support their massive bodies. Like all great apes, gorillas depend heavily on forest environments, and in turn, they play an important role in maintaining the health of those ecosystems. To understand how a fight between these two animals might unfold, we first need to look closely at their size and physical characteristics. Chimpanzees vary in size depending on age, sex, and region, but adult chimpanzees typically stand between 3 and 5.5 feet tall when fully upright. Their weight usually ranges from about 70 to 130 pounds. Male chimpanzees are generally larger and more muscular than females, with broader shoulders and stronger arms. Chimpanzees are covered in coarse hair that ranges from dark brown to black. Their faces are mostly bare, often framed by a lighter beard that becomes more noticeable with age. Chimpanzees have skin that is generally light in color on the body, but darker on the face, hands, and feet. Younger chimpanzees may have lighter facial skin that darkens as they mature. As chimpanzees grow older, hair loss can occur on the forehead, and some individuals develop gray patches on their backs. Gorillas, by comparison, are enormous. Adult male gorillas can stand close to 6 feet tall when upright, and their arm span can stretch between 7 and 8 feet from fingertip to fingertip. Males typically weigh between 300 and 430 pounds, while females are smaller, weighing between 150 and 250 pounds. Their bodies are covered in thick, dark fur, except for their faces, hands, and feet. Mountain-dwelling gorillas have especially thick fur to protect them from colder temperatures. Gorillas have large heads with pronounced brow ridges, wide nostrils, and powerful jaws. Their hands are massive, with long fingers and strong thumbs designed to gripping vegetation. One of the most recognizable features of older male gorillas is the silver-colored hair that develops across their backs and hips. These individuals are known as silverbacks, and the silver coloration becomes more pronounced as they age.
Next, let's look at where these animals live. Chimpanzees are found across various regions of Central and Eastern Africa. Different subspecies occupy different ranges. Some live in West Africa, stretching from parts of Senegal to Ghana. Others inhabit areas of Nigeria and Cameroon. Central populations are found from southern Cameroon into parts of the Congo Basin, while eastern groups primarily live in regions of the Democratic Republic of the Congo and nearby areas. Chimpanzees are highly adaptable and can survive in many different environments. They live in tropical rainforests, woodlands, savannas, and even mountainous regions at elevations of up to 9,000 feet. Their ability to adapt to different habitats has helped them survive across a wide geographic range. Gorillas have a more limited distribution. Western gorillas live in parts of Western Africa, including areas of Gabon, Cameroon, and surrounding regions. Eastern gorillas inhabit a much smaller range, primarily in the eastern regions of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Gorillas live in dense forests, swamps, lowland rainforests, bamboo forests, and mountain forests. Some gorilla populations live at elevations exceeding 13,000 feet. Although gorillas are capable climbers, they spend much of their time on the ground. Diet is another key factor when comparing these animals. Chimpanzees have an extremely varied diet. Researchers have recorded them eating around 80 different types of food in the wild. Their diet includes fruits, seeds, leaves, bark, flowers, honey, and insects. In addition to plant matter, chimpanzees are also hunters. They sometimes hunt smaller animals, such as monkeys or young antelope, and consume meat. While feeding is often an individual activity, chimpanzees may cooperate when hunting or foraging. Gorillas, on the other hand, are primarily herbivores. The majority of their diet consists of leaves, stems, shoots, and other plant materials. Fruit is eaten when available, but it usually makes up a smaller portion of their diet compared to chimpanzees. Gorillas also occasionally eat insects, such as ants or termites. Because the plants they consume contain a large amount of water, gorillas rarely need to drink from streams or rivers. Behavior and social structure play a huge role in determining how animals respond to threats. Chimpanzees are highly social and active during the day. They spend their time feeding, grooming, playing, and interacting with members of their group. Group sizes can range from as few as 15 individuals to well over 100, depending on habitat quality and food availability. Chimpanzees are extremely territorial and show little tolerance toward outsiders. Conflicts between groups can be intense and sometimes deadly. At night, chimpanzees build nests in trees by bending branches and creating platforms to sleep on. Each individual typically builds a new nest every night. Although they spend a lot of time in trees, chimpanzees often travel on the ground during the day, moving along established paths, using their knuckles for balance. Gorillas also live in social groups, usually consisting of one dominant silverback, several females, and their offspring. Group sizes are typically smaller than those of chimpanzees. Gorillas are active during the day and build nests for resting and sleeping, either on the ground or in trees. These nests are made from leaves and branches and provide a soft surface for resting. In general, gorillas are calm and non-aggressive animals. They prefer to avoid conflict whenever possible. However, when threatened, gorillas can display impressive intimidation behaviors. A male gorilla may stand upright, beat his chest, roar, and charge in order to scare away a perceived threat. These displays are usually enough to prevent physical confrontation. Now that we understand the physical and behavioral differences between chimpanzees and gorillas, we can begin to consider how a fight between them might play out. First, it is important to say that neither species naturally seeks out fights with the other. Both animals would rather avoid unnecessary injury. In the wild, survival depends on staying healthy, not on proving dominance through combat. Chimpanzees are incredibly strong for their size. They have dense muscle fibers, powerful arms, and strong grips. They're also highly aggressive when defending territory or during conflicts with rivals. Their sharp canine teeth can cause serious injuries, and they often target vulnerable areas when fighting other chimpanzees. Gorillas, however, operate on a completely different scale. Their strength far exceeds that of a chimpanzee. Their arms, shoulders, and chest muscles are designed to move massive amounts of vegetation and support their heavy bodies. A gorilla's bite is also extremely powerful, supported by large jaw muscles and broad teeth. Despite their strength, gorillas are not natural fighters in the same way chimpanzees are. Male gorillas do fight for dominance, but these conflicts usually involve displays and posturing rather than lethal combat. Most confrontations end when one individual retreats. If a physical fight were to occur between a chimpanzee and a gorilla, size alone would be a decisive factor. The gorilla's mass, strength, and reach would give it a massive advantage. While a chimpanzee could potentially injure a gorilla through biting or repeated attacks, it is highly unlikely that a chimpanzee could overpower or kill a healthy adult gorilla. In real-world observations, when chimpanzees encounter gorillas, the chimpanzees almost always retreat. They scatter, vocalize, and move away from the area. This behavior suggests that chimpanzees recognize the danger posed by gorillas and choose avoidance rather than confrontation. Ultimately, while chimpanzees are fierce, intelligent, and aggressive when necessary, they're simply outmatched by the sheer size and power of a gorilla. A gorilla does not need to be aggressive to dominate such an encounter. Its physical presence alone is usually enough to prevent any fight from happening at all. So, who would win in a fight between a chimpanzee and a gorilla? In nearly every realistic scenario, the answer is clear. The gorilla's strength, size, and durability give it an overwhelming advantage. A chimpanzee might put up a brief and chaotic struggle, but the outcome would almost certainly favor the gorilla. In nature, though, these fights rarely happen. Both animals benefit far more from avoiding conflict than engaging in it. Their coexistence is built on distance, awareness, and mutual avoidance rather than violence. That brings us to the end of today's discussion. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.